Welcome back, you guys.
Yeah.
Excited?
Yeah.
So I'm a few minutes late. I was jumping in the ocean. We don't get to do that in Boise, Idaho very much. So anyway, it was amazing. So the water's way colder than I thought it was going to be. But I thought we were like on the warm side of the world, so I was excited. Anyway, we had a good time. All right, so I'm excited for today's presentation. It's something I haven't had a chance to teach live in this format very often. In fact, this is only the second time ever. And the first time was in a group of, I think, 7 people who all paid insane amounts of money to be there. So I'm just excited. So this will be kind of fun and different. And basically, how many of you guys have ever read my book yet, Dot-Com Secrets book? All right, cool. Look at this, all the books back there. Woo-hoo. I bet you Darren can sell you one if you guys need one afterwards if you haven't read it yet. So I had a chance to launch my first book this year, which was a really, really exciting process. Way more work than I thought. I didn't do it as smart as the way that Darren does it, but it turned out really good, and we made a lot of money from it, and brought a lot of new people into our world, and it's just been amazing for me. So I had a good time with that. And afterwards, we kind of launched a higher ticket coaching program to go along with that. We call it Ignite. And it's our Ignite program to help take people through kind of all the principles of Dot-Com Secrets for their business. And so this presentation is kind of like the first thing I take all of our Ignite members through. It's helping to start build out the foundation for your company, for your business, and all the kind of things that you're going to need to really be successful, building funnels and doing webinars and all these different types of things. So that's what we're going to be going over. It's going to be fun. Yes. This one, feel free, we can ask more questions throughout. It's more interactive if you guys want, because I don't mind at all. And so we're going to jump right in. So the Dot-Com Secrets Blueprint. Now, if you read the Dot-Com Secrets book, this is the first thing we talk about in this book. It's called a concept I call the secret formula. And this is something that I wish somebody would have told me this when I first got started, because they didn't. And so what happened, like most entrepreneurs, we get really, really excited, right? We have an idea for a product or a service or something. And so most of us don't think things through. At least I don't. I don't know if you guys are probably more mature than me, I'm pretty sure. But for me, I get excited about an idea and I just jump and I start running. We start creating things and we start selling things. And at first, it's so much fun because all the people are giving you money and it's validating your idea and all these things are happening. But what happened for me is I was doing this for 3 or 4 years, having a ton of success. And one morning I woke up, I was laying in bed, and I was like, I don't want to go into the office today. I don't want to talk to my customers. I am like miserable beyond all belief, which should make sense because I had created this thing, right? I remember sitting there in bed thinking, man, I wish that I had a boss so that he could fire me and I wouldn't have to go in today. Like, how great would that be? And I'm like, that's not a good thing for us to be thinking as entrepreneurs, is it? And I started thinking, I'm like, why am I so miserable? Like, I'm living my dreams, we're making money, everything's amazing. And I realized it's because I didn't understand this right here. All I did is I had an idea for a product, I created it, started selling it, and what happened kind of through that process is that my customers, people, just chose me. Okay, which seems smart, it seems logical, but if you're not careful, a lot of times the wrong customers are going to pick you, people that you aren't as passionate about. Yeah. I was attracting people who wanted to get rich on the internet, people who didn't have money to invest in hiring programs, people who typically weren't following through and getting things done, and it wasn't. It was miserable. Like, I would do events, I would teach people things, and afterwards, like, there were hardly any people applying, and I'm like, why is this so? Like, this is not that difficult, right? And so I remember about 3 years ago, during this process, I woke up and I was like, if I was to start everything over again, like, who would be my dream customers? Like, who would be the people? And when I woke up in the morning, I'd just be like so excited to go hang out with them. If I was doing webinars, I'd love these people and want to be able to serve them. And I sat down and I started really thinking through, it's like, who is that customer? Like, what does that look like? What are they passionate about? And I developed who my ideal customer was. And I've heard people talk about this for years. In fact, I'm sure this is not the first time you ever heard this concept, right? But for me, I just kind of like, oh, whatever, like, I'm making money, like, this is the key, but it's not, like, it's really coming back and figure out who your who is. Like, who is the person you want to serve? Because if you create that person correctly, it makes your job a million times easier, more fun, more exciting. And again, that was 3 years ago we kind of started figuring out who our who was. And so for me, this is the exercise I did. Somebody told me kind of to do this, and I did it. I sat down and I said, okay, who is my dream customer? Like, what are some things that I know are important to them? And I wanted a female and a male version. So the first thing I did is I wrote down the name Julie on a piece of paper. So I'm like, Julie's gonna be my dream customer. Any Julies in the room right now? Okay, by the end, I hope I have some Julies. All right. So I said, Julie, someone who's successful. She's driven. She has some message that she knows can change the world somehow. She wants to figure out how to get that message out to more people. I want someone who values her personal growth over money. I don't want someone who wants to get rich quick. I want someone who wants to change the world. That's inspiring for me, right? And I want someone who's already got a business, okay? I can help people to start a business, but it's so much easier to take somebody who's got a business and go from good to great. And that's who I wanted. So I wrote this stuff down, and then I went to Google Images. I typed in Julie, successful, driven, 5 figures, a couple things like that, and I typed in, all of a sudden, all these female pictures started coming up, and I was scrolling around, I'm like, no, that's not her, that's not her. And all of a sudden I saw that picture, and I'm like, boom, that's Julie. That's who I want to work with. Someone just like that. So are there any Julies in the room right now? You guys think? All right, we got a couple Julies. Good. Like, that's my definition of who I wanted to work with on the female side. Okay, so I took that, printed out that picture, hung it up on my wall. Then I went for the male side. I said, okay, who do I want to work with on the male side? Okay, and I was an athlete, so I really enjoy working with athletes. I want to work with former athletes. I want to work with someone who has had the experience in their life. They've learned something, they've done something, either in athletics or some aspect of their life where they've changed somebody's life in a little way, and they got that taste. You guys want to talk about that taste? You're like, man, I helped somebody to do this thing, and I want more of that. I get that burning desire. I want somebody to have that, and then they wanted to share it with more people. Like, how can I get that message out to more people? Okay? I wanted someone who values growth over money, and again, already has a business. And so this became my other avatar. And I drew a picture of that from the wall. I said, this is who I want to serve. In my company, these are the kind of people who want to serve. And so I started thinking, like, how do I get Mike's and how do I get Julie's to come into my world and to give me money to be part of it? Okay? So what I did is come back to here, is I figured out who was first. And the second thing I had to think through was like, okay, if I'm going to attract those people into my business, what kind of bait can I create that's going to get somebody to come to me? Right? You start thinking about that. When you're creating your first info product or a webinar or anything you're creating, it's bait. Okay? And it's going to get a certain type of person to raise their hand and want to come into your world. Okay, so you got to kind of think like, what's the bait that I'm putting out there? I started looking back in my past, like the bait I was putting out there that got me a whole bunch of get rich quick on the internet people. Like my products were called like, hey, who wants to get rich on the internet, right? And guess who follows that bait? Everyone. Not Mike and Julie. All the people who want to get rich quick on the internet. Like, and if I wanted to attract a Mike and a Julie, someone who's got a business, someone who's successful, someone who's actually an entrepreneur, I got to speak differently. I got to create things differently. Okay, so this is 3 years ago. We sat down and I thought, what are we going to create that would actually get them excited? Okay, and we sat down and I created a book called 108 Proven Split Test Winners. Anyone here have a copy of that book? Cool. Nice. 108 Proven Split Test Winners. Anyone have that book here by chance? You got it? Oh. So I got this book and I'm putting it together, and it's basically, for the last like 10 years of my business, we split test everything, right? Like which headline worked better, what landing page worked better, what ad, like what, every single thing, right? So I just collected all this data forever. And then somewhere along the line, I was like, let's put this into like an actual product. So we started putting this together into a book, and eventually found that after we put it all together, there's about 108 split tests we had run that we found out like this versus this one, when like destroyed the other one. This one works way better. So we put this into a book, and initially I'm like, man, no, like it's kind of like high level stuff, right? Like a lot of people don't even know what a split test is. I started thinking, I'm like, if I put this out there in the market, it's not teach people how to get rich. All the get rich on the internet people are gonna look at that and be like, I don't know what he's talking about. Like, what's a split test? I don't even know, right? But the cool thing is that the person who's got a business, they have a website, they're trying to figure out how to take their internet business to the next level. They see a book like 108 Proven Split Test. What is that? It's like the best bait in the world. They start going nuts for it, right? And so that became this product. Initially, we were going to sell it for $997 because it was like, it's 10 years of data and research. Like, I think it's amazing. And we were going to do that. And that was kind of the game plan. And then right before, after we got it printed, I had the first box when they showed up. And I was just like, man, this book is amazing. And I started flipping through, and I was like, I want this book on the desktop of every single entrepreneur in the world. Like, I want this. Like, they got their computer, their mouse pad, and then my book. Like, that's how cool I thought it was, and I wanted that. So if I sell this for $1,000, it's going to be hardly anywhere. Like, I want everyone to have it. And so instead of selling the book, we decided to do it for free. Gave away for free. People had to cover shipping and handling, and then we sent this book out to them. And so we took that book and we launched it, and in the first 12 months of launching it, we sold over 10,000 copies of the book. And what's interesting is the type of people who bought the book, completely different. Okay, the first time I think in my head I thought, I thought that was what's going to happen. We did our very first event after, and I show up at that event, and I walk in the room, and I'm looking at the audience, and there's a sea of Mike and Julie's. Every single one of them are entrepreneurs. They're successful. They've got businesses, and it was just like night and day. And it was life-changing for me and my business. And for the last 3 years, every single morning I wake up, and those are the customers I work with now. And they're so amazing. They're so much fun. But it all comes back to the secret formula. If you don't know exactly who it is you want to sell to, you're going to start getting some weird people you probably don't like showing up buying your stuff, okay? So that's the first step. And after you know exactly who it is, then you got to figure out what bait am I going to create to get those people into my world, okay? Because the bait is what, if you're catching a fish, you got to put the right bait in, right? I'm not a fisher, but I'm guessing that if you want to catch, I don't know, a trout, there's something you put in to catch a trout, right? You want to catch tuna, you can catch tuna, you want to catch a shark. Someone told me there are sharks out there. I don't even know. That freaks me out. If you create the right bait, you can get the right person. Me, as you're here today, because you're trying to figure out an edge, how to make more money, how to have more time, how do I squeeze more out of every single second of my life, right? That's how we run. That's how we operate. So we created this bait. He's in the process right now of creating that, all right? So now we have the bait created, and now he can start attracting those people into his business, okay? But it was a whole shift, okay? And one of the coolest things, he messaged me, I think it was about 5 or 6 days ago, before I got here, so I'm kind of on this weird timetable. I don't even know what day it is today. It's a different day back home. It's so confusing. So anyway, he messaged me and he said the coolest thing, he's like, I woke up this morning at 5 o'clock in the morning, and he's like, I'm going nuts because I'm so excited about creating this and the people and like just the vision and all these things, and he was just driving it forward like crazy, okay? My guess is if you're struggling to wake up in the morning and get stuff done, you've got the wrong market. If you're waking up at 5 o'clock in the morning and you're just going nuts because you're so excited to create and to give and to serve, you probably got the right market. Okay, so that's like your test to find out if you're in the right market or not. One of my close friends, he's a chiropractor, he's creating a chiropractic book. And he was at my house the other day, we're sitting in the hot tub, and he was just talking about this book, and he was excited by it, but you could tell he was kind of struggling. And I'm like, well, you should wake up every morning at 5 o'clock, write 2 or 3 pages every single day. He's like, okay, he's like, I can do that. I looked at him, I'm like, this is way too hard. If you're struggling this hard to do it, you're in the wrong market. And he was trying to do this health practitioner thing, and I was like, what really fires you up? He's like, what fires me up the most is working with other chiropractors. I'm like, well, let's just change your whole book then. But he's hard because us entrepreneurs put all this time and energy in something, right? He's like, I put all this time and energy over here. I mean, it doesn't matter. Let's just throw it all away. Let's just start over here. Because if you don't do this right from the very get-go, you're going to be even more miserable when it starts working. Okay? Because now these people are going to give you money, you're going to feel obligated to them. So he changed his book, and now he's rewriting it. Now he's fired up, and it's just changed the whole perspective, right? So this formula is key, you guys. We're going to walk through more of this. Because after you've created the who, and then you create the bait, now it's like, how do we guide these people, and where do we take them? I really want to kind of identify that first. So what I want to do is I want to take maybe 2 minutes, and I want you guys to write down on a pad of paper, like, who is your dream customer? Like, who is that person? And what kind of bait could you create just to get that person excited, to want to give you money? Okay, and this is not a long thing. I want you guys later to go through this deeper, but I want you to spend 2 minutes just while it's top of mind, just jotting down, like, who is your dream client, your dream customer, and what could you create that's just going to get them excited to come into your world and to give you money? 2 minutes. Okay, now I can wrap this up. Share it with your neighbor real quick. With your neighbors. Just really quickly wrote down. So 1 more minute. Share it with your neighbors. Okay, let's wrap up. I know this is something we can spend. All right. Raise your hands. I don't know why, but let's all. All right. Okay, I know that was not a lot of time for that exercise, but I don't have a lot of time. But hopefully that starts this conversation in your mind, because it's key, you guys. Like, this business becomes so much easier when you pick the right mark, when you pick the right bait. Like, it becomes a billion times easier when you can do that, and it's like night and day. Okay. All right. So that's the first step, is really identifying who it is and creating the bait. The next thing I want to talk about, and this is probably backwards from the way that most of you guys have done businesses in the past. Okay. Because most people, what's the next step you do in a business? You start creating this thing, right? You start creating the product or the service, you start putting it out there, and you're trying to go out there and just do it, right? So that's how we are. We're action takers, we're moving forward. But what I found is that's not typically the right next step, okay? The next step for me is I want to get a result for someone. I want to prove that this thing that I'm going to do, that it works. Because if I don't have a result, it becomes really hard to sell it later, okay? So for example, 2 years ago, I used to have a coaching program way back in the day, and then I shut it down. And 2 years ago, I decided, you know what, I want to do this again. I miss working with entrepreneurs. I want to get back into this a little bit, right? And so I didn't just go out there and put up a website and say, hey everyone, I'm Russell. You should give me a bunch of. So Drew owns a company called FitLife.tv, and they've got 1.2 million followers on Facebook, and he helps people to transform their bodies by juicing. Okay, that's kind of his business. And at the time, I just watched some juicing documentary on Netflix, and I was like juicing. I thought it was cool, and I was following him. I'm like, this guy's awesome. So I found he lived in San Diego. He's friends with some of my friends, and so I was going down to San Diego, and I called my buddies. And I'm like, hey, can you introduce me to Drew? I'd love to meet him. He's like, sure. And so this is where it gets kind of weird. So I'm in San Diego. I pick up my phone and I call this guy Drew. I'm like, hey Drew, my name's Russell Brunson. You probably know who I am, but I'd love to come and meet you. And I'm a huge fan. And he was kind of awkwardly like, all right, here's my address. So I'm like, okay. So I jumped in an Uber, first Uber ride I ever had actually. I jumped in an Uber and I go up to this like mountain thing, and he's got this big huge house on this property. It's really cool. So I go in there and I walk in and kind of meet for the first time, and he walks me to the front room, and I sit down, and my book, 108 Proven Split Test Winners, is sitting there on the table. I was like, hey, you got the book, so you know who I am. He's like, yeah. He's like, it's really weird. He's like, I bought the book a week ago. He's like, it showed up. He said, last night I'm flipping through the pages, and I'm like, this is amazing. He's like, man, wouldn't that be cool if Russell come help me with my business? I wake up and you called me, and now you're sitting here in the room with me. I was like, that's kind of creepy, dude. And so we're sitting there talking. He's talking about his business, and he's like, and there they weren't struggling from one aspect. They're doing over $1 million a year, but they weren't profitable. They were losing money every single month. And you could tell, like, when you work with entrepreneurs who are going through that pain, and I know some of you guys are probably in that spot right now, like it's painful, right? And you're losing money, and you have this obligation to your team and your company and all these people around you, and you're working your butt off, 20 hours a day to keep the thing afloat so that everyone else has an opportunity. And I get that, it's hard. I can feel that pressure with him. And I was like, hey, I'm only here for a day, but I'd love to come back in a week or two and just come work, and I'll come work for you for free. He's like, why would you do that? I'm like, I don't know, like, why not? Like, it'll be fun. And he's like, what's in it for you? And I was like, I'll just come and help you. Maybe it'll, like, something cool will come from it. So he's kind of like, all right, I guess that's fine. And that was kind of it. So then I went home, and then like a week or two later, I flew back out, and I get there to his office, his whole staff's there, and the first impression, it was funny because we actually interviewed everybody afterwards, but they told me that like they were waiting for me to come in and be like, oh, your headline's broken, just change that, and everything will be fine, right? That wasn't the answer. We looked at their whole business, and they were doing a bunch of stuff right, a bunch of stuff wrong, and we just spent a whole day. I just served them the best of my ability, and I paid my own flight out there, my own hotel, like. I wasn't looking for anything outside. I just wanted to help him. I thought he was cool, and so I came and I served him. I worked for free, and I tried to change his life the best I could. They took the coaching, the consulting, everything we gave them, and from that they fixed their funnels. They went from losing money in every single sale to being profitable, and then they launched a supplement a few months later. They funnel hacked my supplement funnel, and that funnel will do just shy of $10 million this year. Completely transformed their business and their life, right? And it was awesome, okay? And the good thing for me is Drew happens to be like one of the best looking humans on planet Earth. And so I was like, hey man, do you mind making a video just telling me like what your experience was like work with me? He's like, sure. So we made a little video, and now I had a result. Now I had proven that I'm just not thinking I'm cool, but this dude right here transformed his company, transformed his business, and transformed his life. Now I have a tangible result. Now that's something I can use to sell my product or my service or my coaching, whatever it is, okay? And so for me, that's always the first key is you've got to get a result first. I had a friend, he's a high school kid, and it was during the summer, and he was trying to get a job, and he couldn't get a job anywhere. He was going to like every single place and applying like crazy. Nobody would hire him. So finally, he went down to the mall, and you just have malls here. Is that an American thing? Yeah. Okay, there's a mall. Okay, so he went down to the mall, and he walked into the clothing store, and like a whole bunch of the clothes were like all just messed up, right? So he walked up to the manager. He's like, "Hey, do you mind if I help you guys fold clothes?" The guy's like, "Why?" He's like, "I don't know. I got nothing else to do." He's like, "All right." So my friend went and just folded all the clothes, straightened up everything, like cleaned the floor and everything. He's like, "All right, see you guys," and then left. I'm like, that was weird. Like, this dude just came and worked for free, right? And so the next day, my friend came back, and he just showed up around noon when things were all messed up. He's like, "Hey, do you mind if I fold clothes for you again?" I'm like, "All right." Just started folding some clothes, got it all clean, swept up, and he's like, "All right, see you guys later," and left. And the manager's like, "This is so weird. Like, we can't get the normal employees to even help. This dude's coming in every single day, working for free, doing an amazing job." The third day, my friend was like walking past the mall, and they grabbed him, like, "Hey, do you want a job?" He's like, "Yeah, sure." And boom, he got a job. Okay, what did he do? He worked for free first. Okay? When I had a chance to help a new startup supplement company recently, in fact, the last 2 months, and they had this new product, and the first thing we did is this: I said, "We need to get results for people." So we started sending out the product to tons and tons of people for free. It was on our dime. We were covering all the costs, shipping it out to people, shipping boxes and boxes. People started taking it, and they got results. People who lost weight. All these amazing things started happening. And now I was like, now we've got the results. Now we have a foundation that we can launch a company off of. We took those results and launched the company 2 months ago. Last month we did $4 million in sales, and it's just like going crazy. But it started with that, like getting the results first, right? So your company, you got to figure out like what can you do? Who can you work for free for? Like who can you serve and change their life? Because that tool, that asset of you changing someone's life will transform your life. Okay, that's the asset you need to change your business. If you're struggling right now to get people to give you money, probably because you don't have results yet for somebody else. Okay, and maybe you're like, "Well, I don't have any coaching clients yet." Well, that's fine. Go work for free. I work for Drew for free. Okay. So then we took Drew's story, we leveraged that, we launched our coaching program, we started filming it up, we signed up a whole bunch of people, and eventually, this is her name is Liz Benny. She joined our coaching program about a year ago, and she lives down in over in New Zealand. I'm not sure where it is from here. But I went and hung out with her 2 days ago in New Zealand. On the way here, we stopped by her house and then came here. She went through the coaching program. At the time, she had an offline business. She went through the process, and in the last year, she's done just shy of $1 million. They just bought a brand new home, and just totally life-changing. And so a lot of you guys probably have success stories like that in your company right now, right? How many of you guys have changed somebody's life in your company right now? Okay. All right, so that's step one, you gotta change someone's life, right? The second thing, this is where most of us entrepreneurs screw up. We try to change their life and we don't capture it. Okay, we don't capture it. So the second step is after you get a result for someone, you've got to capture that. Okay, if you capture it the right way, you can make a whole bunch of money. You capture it the wrong way, it's not going to make you any money. So how many of you guys have ever seen testimonial videos? It's like in a hotel room like this, and the guy's standing in front of this awkward thing, he's holding a microphone, he's like, hey, I went to a Mal Emery event, it was awesome, he's awesome. You guys should go to an event with Mal. That's how most people capture testimonials, right? Does that make you want to give Mal any extra money right now? No, it doesn't, right? How many of you guys have seen the video we captured with Ian? What do you guys? Was it awesome? Okay, we had people on our team bawling their eyes out watching Ian tell his story because we captured it right. So here's a couple keys of how we capture videos. I'm going to show this, and I'm going to show you guys Liz's video just to see how we capture it. So a couple things. First off, when we capture someone's video, there's something called the law of thirds. Okay, I don't put the person right in the middle. In most videos, it's right, everyone's right in the middle. Like, you don't want that. You need to have it off-centered, right? So, you see here, this is Mike. He's one of our success stories. He's off-centered. He's not in the middle. He's not one of the thirds. Second thing is Mike is not looking at the camera. Okay? If you look at the camera directly, it makes you feel insincere. It makes you feel like a salesperson. Okay, there's a time to do videos where you're looking at the camera. Okay, if I'm selling you something. Something like this, I'm trying to capture a result and an emotional story. And so if he's looking at the camera, you lose all that. Okay, the last 2 days we've been capturing a whole bunch of your guys' stories out in the back. Did you notice I didn't have any of you guys look at the camera? You all looked at me, right, the whole entire time. Okay? Because if you look at the camera, you can come off insincere. People don't believe you. They feel like you're selling something. Okay, so they're not looking at the camera. The second question is, if you allow people to give their own testimonials, they will screw it up. Okay? They're going to say stuff that's completely stupid. They're going to be like, it was awesome, and they're so nervous and they're shaking. Okay? And then they're like, man, I changed this guy's life. They get a testimonial and they walk out and they're like, I can't even use that. Like, you just said it was awesome 4 times in like 30 seconds. That was weird. Like, no one's going to watch this, right? So you've got to coach people through the process. So when I was interviewing you guys and you and you and everybody, we sat down and I interviewed them. Okay? And I knew in my mind what assets, what things I needed them to say for us to make a great testimonial video. I kept asking questions over and over and over and over and over again until I got what I needed. Okay? You don't let them off the hook till you get what you need. Okay? Now what I'm usually looking for when I do these questions, I want to take the viewer on a journey. Okay? Because most of the people coming to watch this video, at the time they're watching this video, they're probably in a state of pain, right? I don't care if you're in weight loss or business or whatever, but you're in a state of pain. Okay? And so when someone comes and watches this video, this person's journey's got to start at the exact same spot that person's at. Okay, if it's not, there's just like you come on like, I'm a millionaire, then they're like, screw you, I hope you die, right? They want, like, they're in pain right now. So you've got to meet them where they're at. So when I start interviewing this person and get their journey, the first thing I'm asking is like, what was it like before you had success? Okay, my question is for you guys, before you met Ian and Mal, what was life like? Was it awesome or did it suck? They're like, man, it was hard. We had a blueberry field, they had 50 employees, we were not making any money, it was hard. But someone comes and watches that video and they're struggling in their business, they're like, wow. That's where I'm at now too. And now you've got them. Now you're taking them on a journey. So walking, what's the beginning like? What was in the past? What then happened? Like, what was the transition now of this journey towards success? And then what's the result you're at now? So I'm taking someone on this timeline of their journey. Okay, if that person meets you at the beginning and they see where you have gone, and they believe you, and they're going to want to follow. Okay, so that's how we capture the testimonials. Okay. Now you'll see as I do the questions, I ask a whole bunch of questions. But those questions never show up on the video. We cut those out. So we add a music track to it, and it turns into magic. So I'm going to show you guys one here in a second. But I want to show this process, how easy. So a lot of times, like when we do ours, Brandon, I think Brandon's asleep right now. We've been running and ragged the last 2 days filming stuff. But he's got nice cameras and stuff. But a lot of the ones we do, I just do it with my iPhone or my iPad or whatever I've got. So I want to do an example testimony. Will you be my victim for today? Talking to you. Okay, so I'm going to do a fake one. This is going to be fun. So, are you okay, Steven? Okay, come stand up. Give a round of applause, everybody. Okay, all right. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to capture one really quick with my phone. And it's going to look awesome. In fact, actually, let me take this off of. Yep, I'll come on down here. Okay. I wish I could show it bigger, but I just want to get the perspective. So the first thing is like this wall looks horrible, right? Is there any good thing we can do in here? Let's pretend like we're outside. Yeah, pretend like this is the. Actually, I wonder if.
You stick your head right there where he's.
Yeah, pretend like your mic. All right.
You get an
She's
outside
got a
thing up there.
screenshot of.
Screenshot
the
outside.
Okay. We'll just pretend because we don't have too much time. So here it is. So if I'm an interviewer, first thing I get my phone, and notice I said is I'm not gonna be way back here either. Because look, it's hard to see, but if she's super far back, it just looks weird. Okay. I want to like it's gonna be awkward for her and uncomfortable for a second.
Close.
But I want to be close enough. Like I want to capture her. Right. This is her story. So I'm gonna be close enough. You see like a third of the screen is her. Never turn that way and see. It's hard to see, but a third of her face is on there. So I'm gonna be this close. And I'm going to stand right here, and I'm going to interview, and we're going to talk like this. It's going to be awkward a little bit, huh? But I'm going to pretend like you don't even see this this camera here at all. So let me shift to video. Okay. So right there. You could record. All right, so first off, tell me your name.
Hi, I'm Sal.
You're Sal. Awesome. So tell me, like, before you ever read the Dot-Com Secrets book, what was your life like? What was happening in your life?
Gosh, long hours. No clue, actually. No clue at all in relation to marketing and, yeah, just no direction either. All over the place.
How did you feel like trying something but not knowing where, like you got a treasure map, or you don't have a treasure map, like you're wandering and hitting off things versus like actually having a treasure map that shows you kind of where you need to go?
Yeah, I really did feel lost and relied on my gorgeous partner a lot because he's a lot more savvy than I am, but just, yeah, I personally had no clue. Yeah, felt really lost.
Pretty cool. So when was it that you like transformed and you didn't feel lost anymore? Like, what was the turning point where all of a sudden you're like, wow, I have clarity, I have focus, I understand where I need to go?
Probably the fact that the book is so clear and it's really, I'm not very technical at all and I'm quite comfortable to admit that, but it just made it so clear. There's so much, for us non-technical people, I actually feel more intelligent. Yeah.
Cool. So I'm curious, like, with like, what do you feel like the future is going to look like for you guys now? You kind of got focus and clarity, and you know what's going to happen.
So exciting, far out. We don't sleep much at night. We just, yeah, well, like you were saying before, we're just constantly thinking about all the things that we can do, and yeah, really, really exciting.
Very cool. All right, give a round of applause. How many guys think that testimonial for your book would have been better than this book's awesome, you guys should read it, right? Mm-hmm. Okay, so I take that now, I do a little editing, I cut out me asking the questions, I throw a little music track on it, and I got magic. Okay, so I'm going to show you guys an example of a video that we did for Liz Benny. If we can pull the video up. This video has helped us, since we launched this video, it's done over $1 million in sales. And it's amazing, so check it out.
So I want to tell you something. Hiring Russell Brunson was bar none one of the best decisions I've ever made in my entire life. And I want to tell you that when you work with him, he takes you on this journey that you won't even know that you can go on. Like it's like at the very beginning I had all these hopes and dreams and visions, and I honestly thought that yay, I'm working with the overnight success maker, and like I thought, whoa, I'm gonna make like $500,000 in the first month of working with him. But you know what, the eventuality is that sometimes in life it doesn't always work out the exact way that you want it to work out, and that's certainly where it got to for me. So my 2014 was one of the hardest years I've ever had in my entire life. Like, there was cancer in the family, people were in hospital. I thought I was gonna, at one stage I thought I was gonna lose my partner. Like, it just wasn't a pleasant scenario at all. And by losing my partner, I mean, like, hospitalization, like really not, like from really bad health issues. And, there were just times when I promise you, I wanted to give up. And sometimes I actually, when I say that, I don't just mean give up in business. Like for me, when I hired Russell, it really was like, it sounds really dramatic, but like my life's mission, it's so so big. Like I really, really, really wanted to connect with someone who could get me to the next level, who could help me really get from that really stranded, grounded place, you know, sitting in my office every single day, to a place where I'm, you know, helping like people all around the world. And that's why I chose Russell. But man, it was hard. It was really, really, really hard at times to have to deal with those things that come up in your personal life all the time. Like, it was not an easy scenario in 2014, but I'm really, really, really grateful that I listened to Russell. I'm really grateful that I hired him as a coach. Like, the man has changed my life forever. Like, you know, once you're, like, my mind has been blown completely, and there's no way back. Like, I know that anything is possible now.
All right. Good life. Cool. So my guess is that right now, most of you guys in your business, you have stories like that. You've probably changed people's lives, and you probably never captured them, right? This is the key, okay? People like when Mal and Ian hired me, I guess the very first thing we did was, through Ian out, we captured his story. Now I'm here, we're capturing your guys' stories. Like those assets, those tools, those stories is what grows a company, okay? If you don't have them yet, go work for free, get them, and then you can capture them, okay? And again, ideally hire someone like a Brandon who can make it amazing, but if not, you can do very powerful things with your phone, with an iPad. I've seen people build up multi-million-dollar companies with just videos they're capturing on their phone like that. But that's key. If you're not capturing them, you're missing out on that huge thing. My slides back. Sorry. Any questions about that yet so far? All right. These are the keys, you guys. This is the stuff. All right. So, where are my slides go from here? There we go. Okay. All right. So the results. So we won't do this right now, but start thinking about that in your business right now. Like, who are the people that have had an amazing experience that we can capture? Okay. And a lot of times, like, well, how do I capture someone like that? Like, you know, sometimes it's hard if you just like tell them to capture something on their own. They're going to screw it up every time. So what I do, anytime someone has an amazing result, I fly them to my office in Boise, and we film it there. Okay. It's shockingly cheap to fly someone to wherever you're at, as opposed to like, you know, you going out there and all sorts of stuff like that. So when we launched Neuracell, our supplement company, one I started talking to you guys about yesterday, with the exact same thing. We started selling supplements. As soon as success stories started coming in, there's a guy named Jack and there's a lady named Gina, both had amazing experiences. We called them up and like, hey, can I fly you to Boise? I'll cover your flight, your ticket. It'll be amazing. We're going to make you a movie star. We're going to put you on video. It's going to be awesome. I'll give you a free year of our supplement. And they were like going nuts. Like, they were so excited. So we flew them out. We captured their stories. We added those to our sales page and dramatically increased our sales. It was awesome. You know, Liz's example, we flew her out to Boise. We captured her story. We did the same thing with a guy named Mike Stanzik. He went through our program, had an amazing success story. I flew him out. It cost me maybe $1,200. I flew him out, captured the story, flew him back home. He loved it. He had to go through the experience. We hung out. And we got a new video, went and we launched it out there. And so every single time I find out about a result that's amazing that somebody tells me about, I want to capture that. Okay? Otherwise, these like, you know, writing good copy is good. Having a video like this is better. Okay? So don't let these things slip through your fingers. If you've given some results in the past, now it's time to call them up, remind them about it. Invite them to come for a free trip to your house and capture that. Okay? Because it'll be worth so much money to you. All right. So I'm going to transition now from the beginning part of us picking the right market and then capturing, you know, serving people, getting results. The next thing is now starting to figure out the funnel. Like, where are we going to begin? Okay, there's a lot of different types of sales funnels you can build, and when you got ClickFunnels. For those of you guys who have it, you can build almost infinite different types of things, right? But I want to break it down to there's kind of 3 core funnels. I look at my businesses and there's a lot of different ways to do it. There's kind of 3 core funnels almost everything runs through. Okay, and if you've read, how many of you guys have read the Dot-Com Secrets book again? Okay, about half of you guys. So in the Dot-Com Secrets book, I talk about a concept called the value ladder. Okay, and for me, this is like what drives my entire business, right? For example, my core thing, like if I could go to all of you guys, and everyone's got the same thing, like in your business, you've got one thing that would serve someone higher than anything else in the world, right? For me, the highest way I can serve you is doing what I'm doing now for Mal and Ian. Like, come out, fly, film the thing, build out the funnels, capture it all. Like, that's the highest level that I can serve someone at. So the problem is, if I was to walk up to a business owner on the street, Like, let's say all of you guys, before you met me yesterday, if I walked up to you guys and I'm like, hey, my name's Russell Brunson. I know I look like I'm 13 years old, but this is the deal. If you give me $100,000 plus 10% of all the money you make moving forward, I will build you out an awesome sales funnel. How many of you guys would have said yes 2 days ago? None of you guys would have, right? Boom, you got one guy in. Sweet. Because the problem is that you haven't received any value from me at this point. You have no idea if I'm a scam artist, like anything, right? And so what we call this a value ladder, where I'm trying to take somebody up and I need to give them more, I need to give them value, okay? And the cool thing about us as humans is if we receive value from somebody, we naturally want more. Like we crave it, we want it, we need more value, right? So you look at my business right now, somebody comes in and get my free book, right? So you get the free book and you read it, and if the book's good, and you get value, you're like, dang, this was awesome, I want some more, right? So then you start thinking, like, what else does Russell have? And you start sending up, and then you come on my webinars. On my webinar, I sell ClickFunnels. You get the ClickFunnels, you're like, this is awesome, and you get value from that point too. You're like, this is great, like, I need more, like, what else does Russell have? Then you come into one of my coaching programs. Maybe we have a $15,000 coaching program, we have a $25,000, we have our $100,000. We have different levels, right? And what happens is people naturally want to ascend up through the ranks, okay? And I've been working now on Ian for years before they got enough value to get the check, okay? But they did, okay? Because they went through this process, they received value at every single step. Okay, and that's kind of the concept with your business is you're taking somebody through a value ladder and you're trying to give them value. That's what gets people to want to keep ascending and keep giving more and more money. Okay, so that's kind of the concept talked about in the book. Now, as I take somebody from down here, I kind of move them up. There's different types of funnels we use. Okay, a lot of times the first funnel I use is what we call a tripwire funnel. Okay, so those of you guys who bought my book, you went to the page, and if you remember, my book was free plus shipping, right? Okay, then we call that a tripwire. It doesn't cost any money. You just cover shipping and handling, and it's a front-end funnel to get somebody in. Okay, then we got webinar funnel, high-ticket funnel. I think my next slide goes into that. Okay, so I'm gonna kind of break these down. So this is kind of what a tripwire funnel looks like. How many of you guys already have a tripwire funnel created? A couple of you guys. Okay, cool. So this is what a tripwire funnel is. It's basically something that's either free plus shipping or $7. It's really low ticket. It's not expensive. Okay, you're trying to give them something just to get them in, right? So for me, my 108 Proven Split Test book was a free plus shipping tripwire offers to get somebody in the door. Okay, now after they buy that, then I have a process here where I try to offer them other things to make the money in the funnel, right? So if you look at my book funnel, you get the book for free plus shipping. On the order form, there's this thing we call order form bump, where for $37 you get the audiobook version of my book as well as a missing chapter. Okay, so people buy that, and then we have upsell number 1, which we sell our traffic product. Upsell number 2, we sell my webinar product. Okay, so that was the book funnel. So, and I wish I had like days I could go really deep into this. But if you look at this funnel right here, so it's kind of funny. My wife always asks me, she's like, "Why did you give your book away for free? It doesn't make any sense." Okay, and maybe you just wonder like why does some people do free plus shipping on the books? Okay. So right now, for my book, for every free book I gave away, I averaged $32 in sales. Okay? How many of you guys sell your book for more than $32? Well, people don't. Okay, but every book I gave away, I made $32. So what that means is I can go and I can spend up to $32 on Facebook to give away a book and still break even. I can spend $32 a book on Google, $32 a book to join a venture partner. I can spend a lot of money to sell books. That's why I sell so many books. Because I've got a funnel like this that gets me to break even. And if we look back here, the break even here, then I can move somebody up to the next funnel. And then here, it all becomes pure profit. Okay? So that's kind of what a tripwire funnel is. Here's some examples. This is my 108 Proven Split Test winner book. So that's an example of a tripwire free plus shipping book offer. The one we're doing with Anthony, the biohacking secrets, again, is going to be a free plus shipping book. My .com secrets book was a free plus shipping. This is like my favorite type of front-end funnel. I got tons of them. My webinar script I give away for free. I have free plus shipping on that. I take pieces of my systems, right? And I create them in a really cool, unique way to get people excited to give you money. So I pull little pieces out of it. Okay? So there's a good example of one. This is one of my friend's companies. It's called Survival Life. Anyone here ever heard of Survival Life? A couple of you guys? So this was a brand new startup. They had it running for like 2 or 3 years, and they couldn't break like $15,000 to $20,000 a month. They were struggling. They could not figure out how to do it. And then Perry, one of the owners of the company, was in China at the Canton Fair, and he found these little credit card knives for like 30 cents a piece. He's like, this is kind of cool. So he bought, I don't know, a couple thousand, took them back to America, put them in a shipping warehouse, and threw up an offer as a free credit card knife. They launched it on Facebook, and month number 1, they sold 180,000 copies of their knife. 180,000 copies, 180,000 knives. Okay, and then Facebook kicked them off because Facebook doesn't like you selling weapons on their platform. And then they went and they tweaked the funnel and they launched affiliates all over the place. And right now, this little sales funnel, this little tripwire funnel is $1.7 million a month. Isn't that crazy? Selling credit card knives. Okay, I'm working on one right now where, have you guys ever seen those survival straws? Like if you go down to like the whole world goes to pot, and there's no water anywhere. There's these little straws you can take. You can drink out of the lake or the river and survive, right? So I bought some for my family, and they're like $40 a piece. One on Alibaba, they're like $3 a piece. So I'm doing a free plus shipping straw offer rolling out next month. It's gonna be something like this where they get a free straw, survival straw. We're gonna blow it up all over the place and get a whole bunch of customers in. It's crazy. So there's a good example of a tripwire. How many of your businesses is there some kind of free plus shipping thing like that you could create? Okay, I've seen tons. In fact, I think these are a couple of examples. Oh, this is a good example. So this is another one of Perry Belcher's companies. So he has a company where he sells custom suits. Okay, he's trying to sell custom suits online. He's like, how do I get people to give me like $5,000 for a custom suit? It's hard. And he started thinking, he's like, well, people that buy really expensive custom suits, what else do those people like? They like cufflinks. There's a free plus shipping guide. Because for me, I don't wear cufflinks. Okay, I don't usually wear shoes. I got yelled at earlier, so I'm wearing shoes today. But I don't wear cufflinks. I don't wear custom suits. But I'm guessing that Ian would be like, these cufflinks are awesome. I mean, he would buy that, and then he would buy a $5,000 custom suit, right? So the kind of person you look at your.
He did his mastermind, and like some of the best entrepreneurs out there in Boise, Idaho, he turns up in his mastermind. You forgot your bloody shoes, man. He's in bare feet. You go.
That's how I roll. But you think about this when we talk about the secret formula, right? Okay, these guys figured out my dream customer is someone that would spend $5,000 on a custom suit. What kind of bait can I create to get that person to raise their hand? Okay, create cufflinks to get the person to raise their hand. People who have cufflinks have the shirts that have little holes in it. What are those called?
Yeah, the cufflinks. Yeah,
what's the shirt called?
The
French cuff shirts.
Yeah, you gotta have French cuffs.
Yes, they got French cuff shirts and they buy expensive suits. Okay, so in your business, what is that thing that you can create? You can get down to Alibaba.com for like 30 cents a piece and can blow up your company. Okay, think about the bait. Think what gets entrepreneurs excited. If you're an entrepreneur, think about what gets your dream customer excited. Okay. This is one for my friends launched a supplement company. Instead of kicked it off, he gave away free samples of his green drink and blew up his company really, really fast. Okay? This is one. This one is not a free plus shipping. This is a $7 product. This is my friend. He teaches people. He does high-end real estate coaching, how to flip houses and things like that. And so he's trying to figure out like what's a cool thing I can create just to get people to raise their hands. And so he wrote this report called How to Flip Houses from Your Cell Phone. It's kind of a cool like little hook. Sells it for $7. Gets a whole bunch of beginner real estate investors to buy this, and then from here takes them through his value ladder. Eventually, they're spending $40,000 or $50,000 on bus trips and a whole bunch of things like that. Okay. All right. So that's kind of a basic tripwire funnel. Something really, really cool that gets them in, and then figure out what kind of products you can upsell in the path. I'm going to talk about that here in a minute. The upsells and stuff. Okay. Number 2 is the perfect webinar funnel. So how many of you guys do webinars right now in your business? Not very many. Whoa, we should start doing more webinars. Okay, so webinars are awesome. And it's one of the best ways to convert people, as you guys know. So this is my webinar funnel. The title is the same as my presentation yesterday. My Weird Niche funnel is currently making $17,947 per day, and how to ethically knock it off in less than 10 minutes. Okay, so we launched this webinar. We had ClickFunnels software company. We launched it. And we're trying to figure out how to sell it. I created this webinar last November, so almost not quite a year yet. And it's generated almost $10 million in revenue for us. So webinars are an awesome way to do it as well. Okay. This is Liz Benny. That's when she came to our coaching program, same thing. I knew that her style, her personality, she should be selling on webinar. So I helped her coach her through creating a webinar. She launched it. And like I said, she did just shy of $1 million this year. And she'll do multiple millions next year from this as well. Okay, just having a really, really good webinar. So that's webinar funnel. And the third type of funnel is a high-ticket funnel. Okay, and let me come back. So webinar funnels, in my mind, are usually really good for selling anything from like $300 to like $3,000. That's kind of the gap. Okay, so if your product, your service is somewhere in there, that's kind of what I usually use for a webinar. Yeah.
Russell, are the webinars live or do you pre-record?
Both. So the question was, are webinars live or do you pre-record? So my Funnel Hacks webinar, I did this one, I think 46, 47 times live. I mastered the pitch, and then I made an automated one. Yeah, it's funny. A lot of people want. Like, we've all been sold on doing auto webinars, right? Like how great that be, you just have a webinar and you never have to think about it again. When we did this pitch the first time, I did it in a room about twice as big as this, and I did the pitch, and it did really well. And I remember afterwards, this lady came up to me. She's like, "Man, this was awesome. I wish I could have bought it, but I don't have a supplement." And I was like, "Well, what do you do?" She's like, "Well, I'm a coach." I'm like, "This works for coaches too." She's like, "Really?" I'm like, "Yeah." Like, and it didn't even cross my mind. She's like, "Well, me and like 3 other women, we're all coaches, and we didn't buy it because we thought that we couldn't." I'm like, "Oh my gosh!" So she ran over and bought really quick. And I'm like, "Okay, so I need to make sure that everybody knows in my pitch that this works for everyone." So if you remember yesterday's presentation where I did those slides where it's like, here's my coaching funnel, here's my info product funnel, here's my supplement funnel, here's my funnel for real businesses. I added those in because she was confused. I had that in. And then 3 days later, I went back home. I did a webinar live. And I had 2 webinars happening today. One was at 10 o'clock in the morning, and one was like at 6. So I had 2 webinars happening. I did the first webinar, and I think we had like 1,200 people registered for it. I did the webinar pitch, and we sold. It was like $35,000 in sales, which wasn't that bad. It wasn't like, it didn't crush it. I was like, dang it. And so I went to GoToWebinar and exported all the questions people asked. And I read through every single question. I'm like, wow, everyone's confused here. Everyone's confused here. Everyone's confused here. So in the next like 4 or 5 hours before the next webinar happened, I went through, I was editing my slides as fast as I could, trying to, the things people were confused about, changing the slides, I was adding slides and tweaking things. And 4.5 hours, 5.5 hours later, whatever that was, 5 hours later, I did the webinar pitch to a smaller group of people, exact same pitch, and we did $120,000 in sales. And then I took that same webinar, exported all the questions again, did the same process. Next day I did a webinar, did $150,000 in sales. The next 48 webinars in a row, I did it every single time. So now when you watch that webinar, there's not very many questions that I don't have answered. I've weaved them all in, and now I create an automated webinar out of it. But I didn't do it initially. I would have lost out on, insane amounts of money had I done it initially. So if you do an automated webinar, it's cool, but make sure you perfect it first. That's kind of my
Do you get the experts in, or do you just do it yourself so you can control it?
It's a question, do you bring experts in or do you do it yourself? I just do it myself. I've got a webinar script. In fact, all you guys, if you go to perfectwebinarsecrets.com, it's free plus shipping, but there's my webinar script, and it's $4.95, and you can have it for less than $5. It's right there, boom. That's my script right there. Every webinar pitch I do, I follow it to a T. With Benny follow it, all my like it's magic. You plug in your product and it just makes you money.
I kind of need more of a guest, an industry expert guest in the webinar.
I wouldn't. I usually screw it up, but you could. Yeah. I just follow the script. There's not 2 people in the script because I'll mess it up. All right. Last one is the high ticket funnel. How many of you guys are selling really high ticket things? Coaching, consulting, things like that. Cool. If that's what you're doing, then I would focus on like a high ticket funnel. Okay. All right. So this is like my high ticket funnel. I've got a video of Tony Robbins or Liz or Drew or whoever it is telling their story, and there's a button out there for reply. For those of you guys who saw Ian's funnel work today, there's Ian telling his story, and there's an application button. Okay, I'm going to be using the video we recorded you guys today. Is going to be a video right here with an application button underneath it. Okay, so you're capturing assets to create high ticket funnels, and I'll walk through the process of what these look like in a minute. But just so you understand, this is Garrett White. He's one of our big ClickFunnels members. You guys saw his video yesterday. He did $2.2 million this year so far with his high ticket funnel. The exact same process. He's got his takes on it, which are kind of cool, but same kind of thing. Okay, so you got to kind of pick for you, like which one of these you want to create first. Okay, because a lot of times in our heads we're like, we need to create all of them, and you don't need to create all of them first. Okay, in fact, usually if you're trying to do 3 things at once, you're not getting any of them done. So you got to figure out for you which one of these funnels makes the most sense for you to start with. Are you going to build a tripwire funnel first, a webinar funnel first, or a high ticket funnel first? Okay, and I don't care which one it is. All 3 of them work. You can lead with any of them. You got to pick which one you want to focus on first. My bet is if you're selling really high expensive things, you should start with a high ticket thing. Okay? If you are someone who loves to be on stage and you're charismatic, you like speaking, you should be working on a webinar funnel. If you're someone who's more of like a, actually, let me step back. What I found is interesting. Tripwires are typically sold through copy, right? There's a sales letter or sales video that sells this. Webinars are sold to somebody presenting and selling on stage. High ticket is typically sold on the phone. So what I would say is figure out what fits your style the best. How many of you guys, does picking up the phone to sell someone scare you to death? Okay, that scares me to death. There's a reason why I've never sold anyone anything on the phone ever, is because I'm scared. Randy over there is the freaking man. He can close anyone that answers the phone, he'll sign them up. So I never did a high ticket funnel until I had someone like Randy who could do the sales for me, because it is scary for me, it's super intimidating. How many of you guys love speaking on stage? Okay? All right. Now this is for me, like I love, like I crave this and I love like the interaction, like I love that, right? So for me, this is how I sell most of my stuff, because I just love it. Okay? How many of you guys don't like doing phone sales? You don't really like speaking on stage, but you're good at copy. You're a copywriter, you like writing, things like that. Okay, so for copywriters, I'd probably be focusing somewhere down here. Okay? So well, for me, it's usually like when I was coaching Liz initially, I could tell by her personality type that she's the kind of person that needs to be in front of people on stage. So we focus 100% here. She's like, but I'm building out a tripwire. And I'm like, no. Like, you need to be on stage. Like, that's how you're going to make your money. So if I was consulting you as one-on-one, those are the questions I'd be asking you. It's like, do you want to get on the phone? If so, let's do a high-ticket funnel. Do you want to be on stage? Let's do a webinar funnel. Do you just want to do copy and stuff like that? Let's focus more on a tripwire funnel. Does that make sense? Okay, so I want you guys to take literally 30 seconds, because I just talk way too much. I'm running out of time. 30 seconds figuring out which one of these you're going to do and why, and then tell everyone in your group like which one you're going to focus on first and why.
The man. Webinar value bombs.
Miss Caesar and people. Who's behind the cam? Steven. Oh man.
Man of the hour with his Mentos. Do you want water?
Actually, let me grab a little more, because I'm almost done with that one. Water. Thanks so much. Oh, sorry. That one's mine. Make sure we don't forget that.
Yeah, no, that'll be there. We're over here, man in the
G'day from all the way to Australia.
Australia. We're here live. Alright, we're gonna flip back. Smash those hearts. Let's go double tap.
All right, bring it back, All right. So who's getting some clarity on their business right now? All right, cool. Okay, now this is like my favorite part. So the next step now you figured out, okay, here's my dream customer. I got some results for people. I've blown their minds. I've decided I'm going to do a tripwire funnel or whatever that is. The next step is what we talked about yesterday. That's why yesterday's session was so important. I wanted you guys a good foundation. The next step is funnel hacking, right? Now we got to figure out how we're going to build this. Because I don't want any of you guys to know, okay, I'm going to Alibaba and I got some cufflinks, now what do, right? Like, we got to start thinking, we got to make sure that we're doing this strategically and we're being smart, okay? So let's just say we do a tripwire funnel. What I got to do now is I got to go out there and find out as many people as possible doing tripwire funnels and see what they're doing and how they're doing it and why they're doing it. Okay, I got to go buy some stuff. So this is where you're going to spend some money, but it's worth it, okay? So I find some tripwire funnels. So this, for example, is the 108 proven split test funnels funnel. So if you were to buy this, you would see these 4 pages. That's the funnel right there. Actually, it's changed a little bit. That's what it was then. Okay, and so if you look at this, what I did is, the first thing is I sold the book for free plus shipping. Then the next page, I upsold my traffic product for $197. And here, I sold my webinar product for $297. And then if they said no, I downsold them, I had a payment plan. They could get a payment plan if they couldn't afford or whatever. So those were the 4 pages. And it's changed a little bit since I did this slide. But there's 4 pages, right? So if you're selling something in my market or in a book market, I would go through this and I would look, I said, okay, Russell sold the book, he charged $7.95 shipping handling. Did he give anything else? Was it just the book? I would figure out what that was. Okay, and then here's his upsell. He sold this for $197. Okay, so now I know what price point. Now, what did he include in that? For his was doing traffic, and he had 36 videos. Now, obviously, my product's different, but maybe I'm in the survival market, so maybe I have videos, and I'm going to make 36 videos about how to survive if a tornado knocks over your house. I don't know, just making something up, right? Something like that. And you're figuring out this, but funnel hacking, it's a lot more than just looking at. Like my funnel hack, I'm going deep into everything. I'm not just funnel hacking the pages. That's step number 1 is the pages. Step number 2 is all these videos. What I do is there's a website called rev.com. Any of you guys ever used rev.com before? You use it? So what I do is I send every one of these videos to rev.com, and for $1 a minute, they transcribe them. Okay, so they send me back the transcripts of each of the videos. Now, I'm not going to steal their video, I'm not going to steal their pitches, but I want to see how they're pitching this. How do they do the call to action? How do they frame it? Like, I want to see these things, and I can watch it in a video, but you don't get it until you can actually see it. So for $1 a minute, I get all the videos in this funnel transcribed. Then I bought the product. I log in. I see like what did it actually look like? Like what did I get here? What did I get here? Like, I want to see how they packaged what I got. Okay, now when I know that, now I've got some framework for what I should be creating. Okay, and again, we're not copying anything, but now you got a framework going. Okay, I'm going to do this. I'm going to have this price point. I'm going to do whatever and kind of move things through, right? We did Tony Robbins' book funnel. First thing I did is I showed, here's my book funnel. Boom. I said, here's my book cost, and then here's my upsell. We did the audiobook, and I did this page, this is the price point, this page is the price point. I said, okay, that model works. So what do you have that we can sell at $197? What do you have we can sell at $297? What can we do for the order form above? And we just walked through all the pieces, we figured out those offers, we structured it, and then we went and actually created the funnel. Does that make sense? So I'm trying to figure out exactly, like, we're being scientists or we're being detectives here, right? How many of you guys watch CSI? Do you guys watch that show? I haven't watched for years, but it used to be awesome when it first came out. And that's like they're going and trying to figure out all that's happening, right? That's what we're doing here. So there's my book funnel. This is the Survival Life credit card knife offer. So this is a cool story. So I told you guys earlier they launched this, and right now they do about $1.7 million a month with it. So I bought this. I think I've got at least 100 credit card knives. I keep buying this because I know they're changing it or testing things. But if you look at their model, it's really interesting. And then one of our clients funnel hacked them. He did over $1 million so far this year doing the same thing. So their model, they do what they call, I'll sketch this out. They go freemium to premium. Can you guys, can everybody see this? Probably not. I'll move it around. So if you look at their model, they're coming here, and they have free knife. Okay, so what do they know about people who buy a free knife? They like knives. Okay? That's it, right? Free knife, okay? So their upsell is, hey, you just got a little free knife. How would you like a big knife? Okay, that's their upsell. It says this big knife's awesome. It's called the Hofter Rick, anyway, I got one. It's a huge old knife. You feel really cool, like flipping it out, and like, yeah, it feels awesome. So well, I'll give you this big, huge knife if you join my continuity program at $20 a month. Okay? $1.7 million a month in continuity. And then they got one more upsell over here, which what is it right here? It's, the last one is batteries. So some kind of batteries so that if your house catches, if the world comes to the end, you'll have battery power, right? Whatever it is. So that's their upsell right here. I think they sell it for like $67. But the goal for them is to give away a free knife, get somebody on continuity, and the $67 is to break even on their ad costs. Like this is just kind of like, this covers their ad costs, hopefully. Okay? So that was their funnel. So one of our clients, he went through their funnel and like, all right, I'm gonna do the same thing. So he's in the gun market. So he went through and did the exact same process where he said, okay, I'm not selling free knives, but what can I sell? So he started getting these gun targets. Those little targets you can put up and you can shoot them. So he gave away free gun targets. Okay? And then over here, he gave away, again, you know, what do you know about people that have like gun targets? What do they like? Gun targets. So now he sells them, I'll give you a whole bunch of gun targets, like thousands of them, if you join my continuity program at, I think it's $38.60 a month. Okay, so that's the upsell. And then over here, this funny story he told me. He was like, I was trying to figure out like what I could sell over here to break even. So he's like, I went to Walmart across the street, I walked over the gun aisle, I'm looking at all the gun stuff. He's like, there's these gun cleaning kits for like $20. He's like, so I bought one, I went home, I took my iPhone, I took a picture of it, I put it up on a website, and it said, gun cleaning kit, $67. And they started driving traffic and they started selling it. You walk across the street to Walmart, you buy them, you ship them out, you buy them, you ship them out. After a little while, you realize that people keep buying these, so then he called the manufacturer up and got them for about $10 a piece now, and now he's drop ships them directly from the manufacturer. But that's how we got the whole thing, okay? They've done over $1 million so far in the last like 6 or 7 months with this funnel, and it's just blown up like crazy, okay, in the gun market, okay? So again, if you are doing a tripwire, you gotta find, there's tons of these out there, like they're all over the place in different markets, you gotta find them, look for them, search for them, and then you can funnel hack them and figure out, okay, for me, what would the prospect, what can I plug in there for my business? That make sense? Cool. All right, so there's Tripwire. How would it look like? All right. Number 2 is a perfect webinar. there's so many cool webinar things we can go deeper into. I wish we had more. Yeah, we have more time, sorry. If we had more time, I can go into this, but same thing is webinar funnels, okay? If you look at my webinar funnel, this is the basics of it. They register, then there's a confirmation page where I sell a trial to ClickFunnels, and over here we have the webinar where we actually sell a product. I also have a bunch of videos that go out in the email sequence, but if you funnel hack, if you go through my webinar funnel or Liz's or anybody's, you'll see the sequence is very, very similar, okay? It's usually a webinar registration process, and there's a bunch of videos happening. Right now, one of the funnels we're working on Ian is the webinar for his advisor funnel. And it's the same kind of thing. You'll go through this process right here, and we captured a whole bunch of videos of people yesterday who've gone through the advisor program, and those videos will be happening. It's the same model, the same template. We're just funnel hacking myself and plugging in his assets to make a webinar funnel that's very similar to ours. Okay, so there's a webinar funnel and a high ticket funnel. Same thing. The way I do my high ticket funnels, page number 1 is basically trying to capture them, right? And so for me, every time I have a new success story come in, I make another one of these pages. So I probably got 40 of these pages. I got one with Tony Robbins, I got one with Liz, I got one with Mike Stanzik, I got one with Henry, I got one with all these people, everyone we've had success with, we make a new page for them, right? And I can drive Facebook ads, so I can do a bunch of stuff to that. So they watch the video, it's a testimonial, they register, or they apply it for the name, email, address. The next page now is they go through an application process. Okay, so while they're going through the application process, I have a video there of me just saying, hey, I know that you're here, you're probably scared to death to apply, I'd be scared too, you know, and what I want to do is while you're filling out an application, why don't you watch some videos of people that have had success, and that way you can kind of see, you know, what the program's like and what the results they've had. So then I just have testimonials sitting there rolling while they're filling out the application. And it's cool because like in that video, there's one of our clients, her name is Natasha, and she started bawling her eyes out, she's telling her story, awesome, like, that's the best thing if people cry for you, like that's the best, right? So she's bawling her eyes out. And it's cool because like half of the applications that come in, people are like, I want the same thing Natasha had. So you know like they're watching it while it's affecting them applying, right? So that's the second page here where we have them apply. And the third page is my homework page, okay? And the homework page is where I try to get a really personal connection with that person, okay? Because at this point, they may have heard my story, they may have seen other people talk about it, but here I've got a video where I just tell my story. Talk about why I'm doing what I'm doing. And I cry in this one, and it's all emotional, kind of embarrassing. I think I cried twice in it, it's really bad. But people watch that and then they have an emotional connection with me. It's no longer just this guy online in an ad, but they trust me, they have a relationship with me, okay? And I do that by telling my story, I give them some homework assignments, have them watch some webinars, do some things to prepare for the call they're gonna have. And on the call is where we're gonna tell them our coaching and our consulting program. So that's kind of our high ticket funnel. So you can go to any of mine and funnel hack it, watch the process. That's high ticket funnel, okay? So for you guys, now that you know like this is the funnel I want to build, now it's time to start doing research, start going out there, start finding them, start looking for them. Like for me, if you look at what I do most of the day, I'm out there like just searching for stuff. I'm typing in free gun stuff, free, whatever. I'm just trying to find like all of the different things that people are out there doing, okay? Also, when I'm on Facebook, when I know I'm going into a market, like let's say I was going to go into the survival market, which I am very soon. We're doing the survival straws as our first product. So I went to Facebook, I started liking every survival page I could find. I'm liking them, I'm commenting on them. But what happens is all of a sudden Facebook says, oh, this guy likes survival stuff. And they start showing me all the ads about survival. And so every ad I see, I click on it. Every ad. The only thing I use the internet for is clicking on ads. That's the whole point of the internet for me, okay? So I'm clicking on every single ad, and so the same thing for you guys is, if you know this is the market I want to be in, I want to be in weight loss, I want to be in consulting, I want to be in whatever it is, like go and like as many pages as you can, go and search those keywords in Google, and you're looking for ads. You want to see who's paying money to sell stuff, find those funnels, and then you start funnel hacking and see exactly the process that's working in that market. Does that make sense? Cool. All right, next step is ClickFunnels. I'm not going to spend time going to that because you guys know now how to build ClickFunnels, and those who invested, you guys will have a chance to go and go through all my other training and go deeper. But after we got that funnel, we go and build it out in ClickFunnels. And then the last step in this process I want to spend a little time on is traffic. How do we get traffic? People to start coming to our funnels. How many of you guys, that's where you get stuck typically, is in the traffic part of this thing. That's where most people I work with, they get stuck. It's like, how do we get traffic, okay? So this is what I do to get traffic. Everything we do in our company to get new customers into our world is based off of this concept we call the Dream 100. And I learned this initially from a guy named Chet Holmes. Chet, one of my friends, he passed away a few years ago. But before he passed away, I had a chance to work with him on some projects. And he wrote a book called The Ultimate Sales Machine. Who has ever read that book? Cool. It's one of, it's definitely one of the top 10 best sales and marketing books I've ever read. And in there, he had a chapter called The Dream 100. And so I'm reading this book, and he's talking about, at the time, he was working for Charlie Munger, who's a billionaire, and he owns a bunch of magazines. And the magazine that Chet was in charge of was like the worst in the industry. They were the lowest, they had the least advertising spending possible. So they hired Chet to come in and like try to get it to make more money. So Chet came in and he's like, okay, how are we selling ads? And they're like, well, we're targeting people that we want to get in our ads, whatever. And he said, well, like, who's spending the most money in this market? And they started looking at the other magazines. They found that there was like 100 people that spent like 98% of all the advertising budget. We said, okay, let's take these 100 people, and we're going to build out a list called our Dream 100 list. And what we're going to do is every 2 weeks, like 1 week, I'm going to mail them something big in the mail, and 2 weeks later, we're going to call them on the phone. And then I'm going to mail them something in the mail, and then we're going to call them on the phone. And we're going to keep doing that until everyone's advertising with us. Okay, so he mailed them big lumpy package in the mail. 2 weeks later, called them on the phone. Mailed them lumpy package, called them on the phone. Kept doing that. After 6 months, he had 0 clients. Okay, but he kept doing it, kept doing it, kept doing it. Within a year, almost every one of his Dream 100 were advertising with him. They went from being the lowest magazine in the industry to the top within a year, which is unheard of. Like Charlie Munger, he asked Chet, he's like, we either are stealing or we're lying. It's not possible. We just did it. Okay, he said, this is what I did. And then in the book, Chet talks about how like he wrote a screenplay for a movie. He's like, oh, this is like, I wrote a screenplay. How many of you guys would think that'd be cool to write a screenplay? And Chet's like, okay, cool, now I'm going to get Hollywood to like produce this thing for me. And he's like, oh wait, I'm not going to Hollywood. Okay, what should I do? Well, I'm going to build a Dream 100 list. To build a Dream 100 list of producers, actors, and people who can make his video, his screenplay come true. So he sent out 100 screenplays, and 2 weeks later started calling them. They sent out more things about it and started calling them. Within like 3 or 4 months, he had sold the screenplay. They turned it into a movie, did a whole big thing off it by following the Dream 100. Okay, so I'm listening to all these stories, I'm like, that's awesome, but I'm like, but I don't really have customers. I'm trying, like for me, I'm not going to Dream 100 to sell my free book. Like how am I going to make this work, right? And I started thinking about, for me, and I think for all of us, the key isn't like we need to go out there and solicit customers this way. You can, if that's the right fit for your business. But for me, I look at like who are people that have my dream customers already in their world, right? On their email list, or on their blog, or on their podcast, or whatever that is. Like those are my Dream 100. Because if I can get a list owner who has 100,000 people on his list to promote my book, 100,000 of my dream customers there, like that's worth a lot to me. Like I'm willing to spend a lot of money to advertise this person. Okay, if I can find a blogger who's got millions of followers, like what would I do? So the first thing we sat down and we built out our Dream 100. Who were the 100 people that if they said yes and they would promote our stuff, it would change our business overnight? We started going through. And I broke it down into 4 categories. So who are the list owners in your business, right? In your industry? Who are the bloggers? Who are the podcasters? And who has big social media following? Okay, that's the first thing. So I start writing these names down. I'm like, okay, I got list owners. I got Tony Robbins has got a big list. I got Mal Emery, Ian Marsh. I got Darren, I got like all the people I could think of that were list owners. I went to all the popular blogs in my industry. I wrote down all the different bloggers' names. Then I went to all the podcasters in my industry. I wrote down all the big, huge podcasters. Same thing with everyone that I knew in my market that had big social media following on Facebook, on Twitter, on Instagram, on all these different places. I built out this list. Okay, and the first list was 10 people, then 100, then I think right now we have about 430 people on my Dream 100 list. I probably should change the name of it, but it's still called it. My guys always laugh, like, hey, get the Dream 100 list out. Like, you mean the Dream 430? I'm like, whatever, that's what it's called. So we built out that list. Now, there's a couple phases in this. Phase number 1, like the best case scenario for me is if I can get Tony Robbins to send email to his list. That's the best, right? Like, how much would you pay to get Tony Robbins to be like, Russell's awesome, you guys should all buy his stuff? That'd be awesome, right? But I don't know if he's going to, but I know of these 100 people, a percentage will. Okay? We just found that if I have 100 people, I might get 30 that say yes, and then like 5 or 6 who actually end up doing it. Okay? That's just kind of the rule number, right? It drives me nuts. That's how it is. So we take our Dream 100 or Dream 200 or whatever it ends up being, and now we start aggressively marketing to these people. Okay? Ian, we found what you got in the mail last week before. Do you mind just sharing what you got in the mail? Ian's on my list. You have it here?
Yes.
Oh!
Turn me on, Michael.
Whoa.
Do your magic, Hello. Hello. Come on, huh? Great. Hello. Michael, you're usually so quick.
You're kind of off.
There we go. We're cooking.
Woo, wake up!
All right. Very quickly. So, yeah, timing was impeccable. Anyway, so I got this amazing bit of marketing, and what it was a fantastic replica of was it a Corvette or something? It was a absolute replica of a Corvette, a nice piece, not cheap and nasty, of a Corvette. And there was this simple marketing piece on there. It was laid out. There wasn't a lot of copy. It just got the message across. It says, "Hey, see this nice Corvette? We're happy to pay the lease payments on your dream car when you invite 100 people to use my ClickFunnels program. So when you get 100 people using my ClickFunnels program, then I'm going to pay your lease payments on the car that you select. And so this could be yours." So, do you think it's motivating me to say, "Hey guys, use ClickFunnels"? Yes or no? But I got it after I already told everyone I use ClickFunnels. Doesn't matter. I'm just happy using it because it's so spectacular. Is that good enough?
Thank you.
Yeah, thanks.
All right. So every single month, I send out something to my Dream 100. Sometimes it's a gift, sometimes it's something cool. So when I was doing my book launch, I had my dream, and again, it was like 300 some people at a time. I sent them all a free copy of my book. I was like, "This is my new book, it's gonna be amazing. I hope you guys help me promote." And then 2 weeks later, I sent them out all a Ferrari keychain. I'm like, "Oh, by the way, whoever sells the most copies of my book, you get a Ferrari, free Ferrari." And then I sent out a t-shirt. I kept sending all these gifts to get them all excited for this thing. Okay, and half these people I didn't even know yet. Okay, and then we launched the book, all these people started promoting, and there's this one dude who's got a big podcast called Entrepreneur on Fire. Anybody here listen to that podcast? John Lee Dumas? I never met him before, but he got my package in the mail. He messaged me up and said, "Hey Russell, your book's awesome." He's like, "I'd love to have you on the podcast." I'm like, "Sweet man." Gets me on the podcast, does a 30-minute interview, and sold 850 books for me. Okay? 850 books for me ends up being worth about $250,000 from one package I sent out. I was one dude. Okay? I also had social media people, and I had bloggers, and all these sorts of people, and we used that to sell over 26,000 copies of my book in under a month. Okay? We launched ClickFunnels. This is the same process I did. For ClickFunnels, what I did is I went to Alibaba.com, and I bought these little video cards that you could preload a message on, and when you open it up, it starts talking to you. So it's like, sweet. So I took my Dream 100, and I recorded a personal video for all 100 people. It took forever. It was a pain in the butt, but it was worth it. Okay, I sat in my car with my phone like, "Hey, this is Russell Brunson. How you doing? Ian Marsh. It's awesome to hear from you." Anyway, and I did a video for him. I did it for every single person in my Dream 100. It took me almost a full day. We went and preloaded those little videos on these video cards. We had a big old ClickFunnels logo on. We mailed these cards out. And for the next 3 weeks, I saw every single person on my Dream 100 and social media videotaping themselves opening my card and shutting it, and opening it, and shutting it, and talking about how cool it was. And that's how we launched ClickFunnels and have built it into over an 8-figure-year company in the very first year. Okay, by leveraging our Dream 100. Okay, so the first step in this process is building out your Dream 100. You got to have it. Okay, like it's key. Like if you haven't done this yet, like this is why you're not making money. I had someone went through one of our programs and they paid a bunch of money. They went and got a funnel built, and they messaged me the other day and they're like, our funnel's not making any money yet. I'm like, "Have you done your Dream 100 yet?" They're like, "Well, no." I'm like, you can't make money until you do this. Like that's the first step. Like it's the most important thing. Okay, so step number 1 is building that out. And then building out some consistent marketing system where you're consistently marketing to those people over and over and over and over again. Okay, at least once a month, everyone in my Dream 100 gets something from me. Okay, it's not always a promotion. Sometimes like Christmas time, I'm sending everybody a gift. Okay, and different times I'm sending different things, but every once in a while I'm asking for a promotion. And if you do it correctly, people will do that because you're building a relationship with them. Okay, so that's step number 1. Step number 2 is unfortunately not everyone on this list is ever going to promote me, and I know that. Tony Robbins is probably never going to send an email to the list telling everybody that I'm awesome. Okay? I know I want it to happen, but it's probably not going to happen. Okay, but the cool thing is that the internet nowadays has given us the ability to leverage a lot of things. Okay? So I may not be able to get Tony Robbins to send an email to my list, but the 800,000 people that follow Tony Robbins on Facebook will allow me to promote those guys. So I make a little landing page saying, "Tony Robbins is awesome, I know, and blah, 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 blah," and I talk a little about that, and I have a landing page there that's speaking to Tony Robbins people, and I go to Facebook, and I drive ads to Tony Robbins people driving to that, okay? Then I take the next person on my Dream 100, I go to Facebook, I make a new landing page inside ClickFunnels, targeting their audience, and then I drive ads to that person. And I go to the next one, and the next one, and the next one, and if you wonder, if you guys have seen my face all over your thing, it's because you're following some of my Dream 100. Okay, so we have Facebook campaigns and Twitter campaigns and YouTube campaigns built out for every single person in my Dream 100. Okay, because even if they're not going to promote for me, these other companies allow me to have access to their customers as well. Okay, that's the key. YouTube's really cool right now because like we've got some competitors obviously for ClickFunnels, right? So like Lead Pages is one of our competitors, and Infusionsoft's kind of a competitor, and some other companies. So what's cool is you can go to YouTube, and I can search for like every single Infusionsoft how-to video, and YouTube allow me to buy a video in front of their video. So if you go to any Infusionsoft how-to video right now, and you click on it, the first thing you will see is a video of me saying, hey, this is Russell Brunson. How many of you guys right here are confused about Confusionsoft? I'm guessing you are because you're on this video about how to use Confusionsoft. It's confusing for me too, I can't even figure it out. There's this really cool program we created called ClickFunnels that makes this process so easy. Anyway, they watch a video of me, and then they can watch the Confusionsoft how-to video. Okay? They go, same thing, you go to, this is fun. Brand is we had a list of like every one of our competitors, every one of our Dream 100, everyone, everything. We made like these little intro videos for every single, that took forever. And then we go to YouTube and, you know, someone goes to Tim Ferriss video, my video pops up. Hey, I know Tim Ferriss is awesome, but did you guys know that blah, 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 I push into my stuff, okay? And so like there's so many cool ways to like, but until you got this, until you got your Dream 100 built out, like how do you get traffic? It's like, I don't know where to go or how to do it. But if I know that these are the people they've already aggregated my dream customers together, I just gotta go find all those little things and put my ads in front of them. It becomes easy, right? So this is how we do it. It all stems off of this, okay? And again, my dream is to get them to promote, and if I can't, then my second dream is just to figure out where their audiences are already congregated, what platforms I can get my ads out in front of those people as much as I can. Does that make sense? All right, so I want to spend 2 minutes. We're almost done. I'm going to spend 2 minutes really quick, and I want you guys to just list out, top of your head, in your market that you're in right now, who are 5 list owners. Okay, now some of you guys run offline businesses. We do this all the time in local areas as well. My friend is a chiropractor. We did this like, hey, you know, he didn't have people with big email lists, but who has got customers in his local geographic area that he could go and he could leverage their list. Okay, so why don't you spend 2 minutes going through, try around 5 list owners, 5 bloggers, 5 podcasts, 5 social media, really quick, as fast as you can. If you don't know them yet, this is a sign that you need to start doing a little more research on who is in your market, who are the people that have already congregated your dream customers together, because they are there, I promise you. So spend 2 minutes, write out as many as you can, as quick as you can.
Double tap, double tap. There he is. Dropping bombs. Double tap, guys, not long left. The man, double tap, baby. Power ups. How long do we just have timeline on it? How long are we going? Yeah, we'll figure it out. It's a while. We had to break it in a bit because one dropped out with the internet. Alright. So we've got 2 with the killer. Part 1, part 2.
I don't think so. I don't think you get 3. I'm just going on seeing. Well, they haven't got the hot food in. It's not a minute. They are, but the food's not hot. We didn't have the food in. So let me go to a couple. Well, I wanted to check with them how long the food will be. They're pulling out the problem on 2, and they said Michael's giving me 3.
Just pull it down when it's done.
Or even just probably feedback, so that just pull it down.
Okay, everybody, let's get started. All right, all right. Hands up. Wow, that did work. All right. Okay, we're almost out of time, so I want to kind of recap everything we went through. Has the last 90 minutes been good for you guys? Yeah. Cool. Okay, so real quick recap. So we put this into context, what you should do. So the first step for all of you guys is to focus on and identify who is your dream customer. Okay? We talked a lot about that. Step number 2 is after we have those people, now we got to figure out what result. Like find some. That's all right? Oh, that's weird. Anyway, step number 2 is we got to get a result for somebody. Okay, if you don't have a result, it means you might need to work for free, whatever that is, you got to get a result for somebody. That's key. Hard to see over there, result. Okay. Step number 3, now after we have that result, now we've got to capture the result. Okay, we show you guys how to capture it in a video in a format that you can now use and leverage. So we capture that result. Now that we capture the result, now we start going into the actual product. Okay? So over here, we're trying to figure out what type of funnel. Talk about 3 funnels, right? Of the 3 funnels, which type are you going to focus on first? A tripwire funnel, a webinar funnel, or a high-ticket funnel? Okay, after you figure out what funnel, number 5, switch back to colors. Number 5 is like, okay, you know what it's going to be. Now you got to go find some people to funnel hack. Okay, so we find a funnel. We know we're going to tripwire funnel. We find someone to funnel hack. We know we're going to webinar funnel. We find someone to funnel hack that we can model. Number 6, we build it in ClickFunnels. In ClickFunnels. Now we have a funnel. Now number 7, do the Dream 100. And that is how we get traffic now into these funnels. You guys all see that? Yeah. So that is the framework, that's the order, that's the process. Okay, whenever I come to events like this, I get so much stuff where it's just like, oh, I don't know what to do now, and I go home. And so for me, if I was to break it down, like this is what I break it down. The very first step is I'd be focusing on and identifying exactly who that is. And I'd be calling every single person to know, like, how can I serve someone? I got to get a result. I got to help someone today. Get that person and just blow their mind. Do whatever your product or service, whatever it is you can do, get that result. Or if you already got people, call them up, fly them where you're at, capture those stories so you have them as assets you can use. Okay? Then capture them, figure out what funnel you're going to make, go funnel hack, and that would be the process I would go through. And that is the process I go through. Okay, you look at like when Ian and Al hired me, this is the process we've gone through. Okay, when people go through my coaching programs, this is the process. If you look at any of my funnels, any of my businesses, this is the process we go through over and over and over and over again. And it's not that difficult, it's just kind of going through it, not missing any pieces, and really understanding that people have already done what you want to do, okay? All they always say success leaves clues, right? It's true, like those things are out there. You just got to find those things, identify them, and plug in your product, your service, or your business into it. I mean, we don't have a lot of time for questions. Any questions about this or any of the process right now? Yes, over here.
I'm not 100% clear on what you mean by the Dream 100. How's that different from your dream customer?
Okay. So I'm not looking for customers. I'm looking for people who have lists of my customers. So if I come back here to the Dream 100, so who has a customer list? So Tony Robbins has a customer list with 500,000 people that are my customers. Okay, for your business, it might be Oprah, it might be, I don't know, someone. So it's who has my dream, who has these dream customers I identified back here, who already has congregated those people together. Okay, who has them on a podcast, who has them on a Facebook follow? Good question. Any other questions about? No. Okay, we're good on.
With a capture, would it be good to put a celebrity in there as well?
So the question was, the capture, do you get a celebrity there? Yeah, I mean, if you have a Tony Robbins who can do that, or a celebrity, definitely capturing the result for celebrities, definitely helps. Cool. Well, that's what I got for today, you guys. Hope you guys enjoyed that. Yeah. I'm going to be hanging out too back here, so if you have questions during the break, I'll be here to go through as well.
So Russell, when are you heading home, mate?
We fly tomorrow morning, actually.
Oh, okay, so this is the last chance you've got, guys, basically, if you want to get a piece of Russell.
Why wouldn't you, eh?
That ClickFunnels offer again, for anyone sitting on the fence, did you want to add something there?
Yeah.
Like a spree or something? Oh, I just...
I was going to cover for anyone who buys during the break. Run.
Do we get a smell yesterday?
Oh, that'll teach me. So just remind the folks of the offer on that one.
Yeah, so the offer, and again, you guys, I mentioned it yesterday, but like, it's not a matter of if you're going to use ClickFunnels, it's when. And the faster you get started the process, the faster we can make money, faster you can change people's lives, the faster your life will change. So if you do want to take advantage of it, you get ClickFunnels, ActionX, and Backpack, which is all the tools you need to run your company. You can cancel Infusionsoft and all the rest of them for a year for free. Plus you get our Funnel Hacks training where I go through Tripwire funnels, I go through webinar funnels, I go through and I dissect a whole bunch of them, and you get to see behind the scenes of mine, a bunch of our students, you get all that. You get our traffic course, which goes in the Dream 100, but goes really deep into how you run the YouTube ads, how you run the Facebook ads, how you run the link, like all the different ads, how you run those. You get our copywriting training that shows you how we script out everything across the board. And you get my personal book funnel, my high ticket funnel, my webinar funnel. I'll push those into your accounts. So you have the framework done. You can just plug in your stuff into my funnels that have made me, all three of those funnels each in of themselves made millions of dollars. And most you guys want. We get hang out in Australia in 24 hours.
2497 or something like that with
yeah,
two payments or one?
Yeah, 2497 or 2 payments. That's Australian dollars.
Right.
Yeah.
No, well, that's okay. That's fine.
Yeah.
Okay, so that's one more hand for Russell, please.